Hi everyone, I hope that you've had a good, healthy, meaningful, and productive week, and I wish you Shabbat Shalom. You know the story about the rabbi who's giving a fire and brimstone sermon on Yom Kippur, and in an effort to awaken the hearts of the congregation, he bangs on his pulpit and he says, "Wake up to the fact that every single one in this community, myself included, are one day going to die." And everyone is quite alarmed, looking at the rabbi seriously, except for one man in the third row whose face broadens into this big smile. And the rabbi turns to him and says, "Excuse me, sir, are you not afraid?" And the guy says back, "No, Rabbi, I'm not from this community. I'm just visiting my sister." So the truth is, irrespective of which community we are from, we all play an important and significant role. None of us are unimportant. None of our actions are deemed insignificant. You know, we're busy counting the Omer period, counting just as our ancestors did when they came out of Egypt. They counted every day until they received the Torah on Mount Sinai. We too count the 49 days every year, from Pesach till Shavuot, where we celebrate the giving of the Torah. One day at a time. We've just entered into the 6th week. Believe it or not, Shavuot is less than 2 weeks away. And we count each and every day. Now, there's another counting that's mentioned in this week's Torah reading where we read the laws of the annual cycle on the calendar, where every 7th year was considered a Shemitah, a sabbatical year, and the land was laid to rest. And every 50th year was the Jubilee year, the Yovel year, which had its own laws. And those years too needed to be counted and calculated. The difference is they weren't counted by each individual. The Bet Din, the court of law at the time, they would count and would establish and keep track of when it would be the 7th and each 7th and the 50th year of the cycle. The counting of the Omer, however, is to be counted by each and every individual. Every one of us should be counting the days from Pesach until Shavuot, because it's a counting in preparation for the giving of the Torah that we celebrate on Shavuot. And the Torah was given to each individual, not just to the Jews as a collective whole. The truth is, the whole nation stood at Mount Sinai and received the Torah. In fact, we're told that the neshamot, the souls of every single individual, were present at the giving of the Torah at Mount Sinai. Yet when God spoke to the Jews, he spoke in the singular form. He didn't say in Hebrew, Anochi Hashem Elokechem, I am Hashem, your God, collectively plural, but rather in Hebrew, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, I am your God, yours individually, you specifically. God spoke to each and every one of us. He gave each and every one of us commandments. He gave us a mandate. He gave us a purpose and the opportunity to live a meaningful life. And he gave value and significance to each and every action, every deed that we perform. God pays attention not just to the collective whole of the community, but to every single individual. And yes, we have to be accountable for our actions, but there's a beautiful blessing in that every single one of our actions are important and worthy and valuable in the eyes of Hashem and in the bigger picture vision and plan that He has for this whole world. And especially perhaps in the time of this current lockdown. We've been in for 2 months pretty much. Some people completely isolated in their homes, so hardly ever going out. The most that people might see on them is a small icon on their computer screen together with a bunch of other people on a Zoom call or the like. And one might think, perhaps I'm not so significant. Perhaps what I do is not going to matter, is not going to make a big difference. Look, everything is managing without me. I've been at home and the world's going on. And the Omer counting and the Torah reading remind us that every single individual counts. The power of an individual is evident in this pandemic itself, where one person can have a tremendous effect, God forbid, in spreading the virus to many people. How much more so can we learn the power of the individual for positivity, for goodness? God cares for each and every one of us. He created every person with a unique mission that nobody else in this whole world can ever fulfill, not present, past, or future. Every one of us have a significant, meaningful role to play, and every action of ours is important and noteworthy in the eyes of Hashem. We should never underestimate our presence, our value, our worth, and the value and the worth of our actions. This should inspire us, in spite of the difficult times that we find ourselves in, to dedicate ourselves to acts of goodness and kindness, to doing our very best, because everything we do does indeed matter, very much matters. Wishing you all Shabbat Shalom, a healthy, peaceful, beautiful Shabbat, and hoping to see you soon in person.